Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at a very rare SUV. This is the 2024 BMW Alpina XB7. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this SUV for me today. Definitely take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. This XB7 is finished off in skyscraper gray metallic. MSRP is just over $154,000. Now this is powered by the 4.4 liter twin turbo V8. It's paired to the 8-speed automatic transmission, pumps out 631 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque. All of that power sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system, where this model also has all-wheel steering as well. It weighs in right over 5,900 pounds. 0 to 60 is 3.9 seconds. Top speed is 180 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 21.9 gallons. You'll expect to see around 16 miles per gallon in the city, 20 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 122.2 inches. Its overall length is 203.9. It has a width of 78.7, a height of 70.7, and its ground clearance measures in at 8.4 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this Alpina, you'll notice front and center Alpina is spelled out in very large letters in the lower section. Aside from that, the front end looks just like a regular X7. You'll notice though, as we get to some of the other features, where the differences are. But as we start up front with the massive kidney grille, it's finished off in brushed aluminum with a forward-facing camera. There's also active grille shutters in the back there to provide additional cooling to that V8, and a really nice design with the vertical bars that run throughout it. Now, in the last few years, BMW has switched to this dual housing for the headlights and high beams in the lower section and the turn signals and DRLs in the upper section. I think it gives it a really cool look with the bodywork that runs right between them. And then in the lower section, there's all the parking sensors, as well as the sensor for the adaptive cruise, and a lot of cutouts to provide even more cooling. There are large ones on both sides there. And then the split design for the lower section of that bumper with Alpina right in the middle, I think gives it a really cool look. And there's also some lines that come down the hood just to tie it in nicely. Now, all of the Alpina XB7s come with these wheels. These are 23 inches. They're 9.5 inches wide up front, 11 inches wide in the rear. And we have the massive Alpina brake calipers. They're 15.5 inches up front, a little bit smaller in the rear, of course, but they have a great design to them, especially paired with this skyscraper gray. Now, for the power folding side mirrors, they have the two-tone design with a camera and the turn signal. There's actually two sunroofs up top, so they go all the way back to the third row there. And then the roof racks and all the window trim is finished off in brushed aluminum, and there's some more accents that run in the lower section. There's also a trim accent just behind that front tire, and where the rest of that trim goes, a line underneath the handles there. And then as we work our way to the rear, the glass has gloss black accents on both sides to tie it in nicely. There's the body colored spoiler along with the third brake light and the wiper blade. This has a set of LED taillights with the dark housing, as well as more chrome that runs between both of those housings. There's a backup camera, all of these sensors, and then a quad tip dual exhaust in the lower section. Now you can also remote start this, so just triple tap that lock button, and then you can use that to shut it off as well. And the X7 in general has a towing rating right around 7,400 pounds. I'm not sure if you can get the hitch option for the XB7. If you can though, that would be very cool. Now, as we work our way to the lift gate, you can use the button on the key fob, or you can use the button that I just pushed on, and the X5 and the X7 both have the split tailgate. You can actually program the key fob to open up both of those at the same time, which is very nice. So you have a few different ways you can do this. Also, on the back side of this tailgate, you push on the one on the right, it will lower the entire rear end of this vehicle, giving you a lower load height if you're putting in some heavier items. And this also gives you a barrier between the bumper and where you're putting in items, so that way you're not hitting the bumper, and you can even use this to sit on if you're tailgating with your X7. Now, as we work our way into the back, you'll notice that the third row is down at the moment. In order to quickly bring them up, we have two buttons on this side that we can pull on in order to do that. And with them up, this is the amount of space that you have behind the third row. Not a whole lot of space, but you can put some items in the back. We also have the pillows that you can use as a passenger, But for the rest of these controls, there's maximum people and maximum storage, as well as being able to move the second row seats forwards and backwards. Now the second row does not fold completely flat, but you can move them out of the way if you have some longer items, and at least gives you a little bit more versatility. And then underneath the back here, there's a little bit of storage. You can place the cover, as you can see right now. Not a whole lot of space, but it is additional room, and it's nice that you can place that out of the way. So with the third row up or down, you still have a good bit of space, and then you can actually close both of those with the push of one button. You can also lock the vehicle as well, just as it did. Now there are some settings that you can get into, so we can go up to the front door and unlock it, of course, but there's settings that you can configure in order for all 4 doors to unlock. Now for this interior, this is the Tartufo leather. There's leather on the upper section, all the brushed aluminum accents, Bowers & Wilkins audio, lots of storage down below. This even has the interior ambient lighting. And then we have a lot of adjustments for all of the sunshades in this vehicle. So the one in front will of course do the window for this side here. And then we have the sunshades as well as in the rear too. So you can adjust all of these just depending on what you're feeling for the day, getting chauffeured around in the back. Now let's work our way to the third row, where if I put that backrest forwards, the front seat automatically moved out of the way. And now the second row can move out of the way too. And at 5'10", I can hop into one of the 2 seats in the back. Now with that seat all the way up, obviously I have plenty of room, but even for my height with the seat back, I would still have a good bit of space. Now there's even ambient lighting back here. There's cup holders. There's adjustments that you can use on both sides. Those will actually fold down the third row. So if you need to do that, you can gain access from there. And then this has the Alcantara headliner, sunroof, and the sunshade in the back. And then you even get a heated third row. So you have the heated seats, all of your climate adjustments, where you'd like the air to go to make you that much more comfortable for this vehicle. And honestly, I have a good bit of space too. My head is almost up against the headliner. So honestly, I could ride around here. I'm almost more comfortable than in some vehicles in their second row. So this is not bad. 2 people back here, and it's not really an afterthought. So you could definitely ride around in the back. Now in order to go back to this seat here, I will just put that back up, and the seat will actually work its way back to where it was, which is of course great. So let's hop into this now as it's still working its way back, and we have the front seat that is moving too. I have the controls on the side where I can continue to go back, and then I can even recline as well. And there's also a button here that you can push on that will actually lower the seat and recline it slightly. So if I just hold on that, we can go all the way back to this position here. So obviously I have plenty of space in the second row, and we have very nice captain's chairs with the adjustable armrests that you can even move out of the way. Now there's storage pockets behind both front seats. There's even an area where you can place a tablet and even charge it too. Second row is also heated. We have the same controls as the third row. More auxiliaries and cup holders. Additional storage space is also located down below. And then we have the grab handles and dome lights on the side, since we have the full moonroof for your second row passengers. So this is really where you want to be in this vehicle. But then if you are driving, you get some really nice controls for the door panel. So we have the massaging functions. You can even move the front passenger seat by using this control, and then you can even adjust the rear seats too. There's memory seating controls, all the window adjustments, side mirror controls, and plenty of storage down below. And then we have the same seats up front as you saw for the back passengers. Now once we enter, first thing you'll notice, we have the Alpina logo instead of the BMW badge right in the middle. There's also leather for the entire steering wheel, which is genuine, and there's the double colors for the stitching, green and blue up top. All the brushed aluminum accents give it a really nice look too, and this has cruise and adaptive cruise control settings. There's volume, tuning, and then Bluetooth and voice commands. Now this model also does have paddle shifters. You'll notice plus on the right side, negative on the left side there, but it's actually a button that you push. So it's right here. Instead of having paddles, you just push that small button there to upshift or downshift. But let's fire this up. That button is down below, and we can bring this to life. And coming back to the digital gauge cluster, for the current setup, Miles per hour is on the left side. Right side, there's the tach along with what gear you're in. And right in the middle, you can go through some more content using the buttons on the right side of the steering wheel, where we have Alpina spelled out currently for that setting, which is very neat. And then you can go through the rest of this content, even the augmented reality. So you can pull up that forward-facing camera, use that at nighttime, which is a little bit more convenient, but you do have it front and center for during the day. And then you can go through the rest of this content that you would see on some other BMW models. Now, if I go over to layout, it will change the entire layout slightly, just depending on how you would like to view this information. And then last up is the head-up display, where there's a few different settings that you can go through, just depending on how you'd like to view this and what you want to see front and center. So it's identical to pretty much a normal X7 with a few tweaks here and there. Now on this left side, lots of storage space down below. There's the headlight adjustments, one air vent. The entire dash is covered in leather with all the beautiful stitching. And then for the infotainment system, it is just what you would expect. On the home screen, we have the nav on that right side and a few items that you can scroll through on the left side. You can also get into your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all of your interior lighting, go through your BMW assistants, even driver settings as well. You can quickly get into all the climate adjustments, so that way you can go through your fan speed, where you like the air to go, and all of that. And under this setting too, we can get into the heated and ventilated seats and the heated steering wheel. There's also a shortcut to music, and you can pull up the navigation as well as your phone to get through all of those settings. So a really easy system to use. There's very nice wood trim accents just underneath that, all the way on the passenger side, where you will notice XB7, it will light up. And we have all of those arrows as well with a really cool intricate pattern. There's two air vents in the middle, along with power and volume tuning. Your defrosters are down below. Underneath this cover, there's wireless charging in the back, along with some auxiliaries, and then you even get heated and cooled cup holders. So depending on your drink, you can have that temperature set up correctly. Now on top of that lid, there's the BMW Alpina XB7 logo, finished off in a very nice brushed aluminum. Now over on this right side, all these controls are for the touchscreen system. So if you don't want to use it as a touchscreen system, you have all these shortcuts that you can easily go into. And not only is the rotary dial finished off in crystal, but Alpina is also within that. More crystal for the shifter. If we push this forwards, that is for reverse. So we have the backup camera, the 360 angle as well. So you can pull all of these up just depending on the visibility that you need. And then if we go to drive, there's the manual setting too. So you can shift using this, and then park is located on the back side. Now on this left side, there's traction control along with the parking sensors. And then you have a few different driving modes. So this has a sport mode that you can put it into, along with comfort. And then there's also HDC, which is the hill descent control. The exhaust will also get a little bit deeper in sport mode too. There's auto hold and the e-brake, and this even has the adaptable suspension, so you can raise and lower it as needed. It will also provide you with a very comfortable ride. Now inside the armrest, there's another auxiliary and a good bit of space, and then the glove box also has an ample amount of room. And then up top, we have all the controls for both sunshades, as well as all the dome lights. And even being a 3-row SUV, there's large windows in that third row. So even from the driver's seat, you can still see out of them, giving you plenty of visibility. As we set off now behind the wheel for this Alpina XB7, we basically have a fully loaded X7 that takes it up another 3 or 4 notches with all the materials that we have. Some of these options you can't find on an X7, so they are going to be exclusive to this Alpina, which is pretty cool to see. So if you're looking for, you just want the ultimate version of the X7 or the 8 series, you can get the Alpina. So it's only available for the X7 and for the 8 series as well. And this is really cool. We are going to put it into sport mode and use the push buttons on the back of the steering wheel now. So we can downshift. In sport mode, that exhaust gets much louder. So from second gear, let's give it some gas and take a listen to it. Sounds pretty good. A little bit of gurgles in that exhaust. It's not overly loud, which I would like to see maybe another button or two. It's odd that we only have 2 drive modes, sport and comfort. There's no eco or any other adaptive settings or anything like that. But you do get an exhaust change between comfort and sport. And aside from some of those specifics to this Alpina, it rides and drives just like an X7 would. I own an X5 with the same adaptive suspension, and it's really no different than being in my X5. So of course, for this price, you would expect to have something that is going to be ultra luxurious to drive and something that you can daily drive and just be super comfortable in. There's no road noise, there's no wind noise. It's what you would expect, not only from a BMW, but for this six-figure top of the line X7. And as far as everything else goes, aside from driving it, if you're just looking for a 3-row SUV, this is basically the ultimate top dog if you want something that is this luxurious, but you also need the practicality of having a big SUV, something that you can put a few other people in, even kids in that 3rd row. And in sport mode, 2nd gear, here we go. I will say, the buttons on the back side of the steering wheel are actually pretty responsive and impressive. So while it's not that big paddle shifter, it is cool that you can use them. If I was buying this X7, I would want to use them. I like performance-oriented vehicles, and on a vehicle like this, using the paddles is just something that gives you that added sporty vibe for something that is geared towards being so luxurious. And the fact that we have this much horsepower, this is almost 6,000 pounds. So we have plenty of power to get this up, to merge into traffic, just to have fun. That exhaust sounds good too. Or to tow. If you wanted to tow with this, you have the ability to do that. I believe you can spec this with the hitch if you would like to, but you're really buying this for having that fully loaded and exclusive SUV. So the XB7, this might be the 2nd one I've ever seen in person. 3rd one actually, because Hendrick currently has 2 of them on their showroom floor. And this is something that you just don't see often. You really got to know what it is or understand what the Alpina badge means from the exterior to know what kind of SUV this is. But this is what it's like to drive the XB7. Honestly, from this angle, it's really no different than a normal X7. And I don't have anything bad to say about it. I own an X5. I've only had it a few months, but I don't even have anything that I dislike about the X5. So the X7 here, the only thing I will say is I do wish the 2nd and 3rd row had some manual adjustments to them. The automatic stuff is nice. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer than my personal preference. So I would like to maybe see that, but I know at this exclusivity and luxury level, everything you want, you just want to be able to push a button and have it do its thing. So that's just a personal preference, but everything else I like. Very, very nice materials. Everything is genuine for this price tag. You are getting a lot of premium materials that you won't see in some of the other BMW lineups. That is going to wrap it up though for the 2024 BMW Alpina XB7. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this rare X7 for me today. Check out their website. That link is down in the description. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.